Untitled.
What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Cowboys Fans Only channel. So if you're new to the channel, everyone go ahead and tell them what to do. Comment, like, subscribe, somewhere down there, somewhere down there, somewhere down there. And for all my members who've been tuned into this channel, support me for almost a year now. It's almost been like, we're almost thinking my year anniversary of starting to do this, man. I appreciate all of your support, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with your boy, man. But Cowboys fans, as we all know, our season's been over a long time ago. So we've been talking a lot about the offseason, a lot of mock drafts. We've been doing a lot of mock drafts. I'm probably going to do one tonight after this show. But as we all know, it's Super Bowl season. Super Bowl Sunday is underway. So as y'all know, I live in Kansas City. So I had to bring on some of my friends who are Chiefs fans. And I also got some of my friends who are Bucs fans, and we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, man, on Sunday and break down this matchup, man. So, CFO fan, why don't you welcome my family, my guy Brian B. Shynin representing the Chiefs, and my guy Tisdale, man, representing the Bucs. What's going on, fam? Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys for joining on, man. So guys down below, my guy Tisdale, man, we play on the offensive line in high school together. So was you guard? Was you guard? Left guard? Left guard. And I surprisingly was a left tackle. Yeah, I was a left tackle, man, surprisingly. I had no idea. Give y'all a funny story about that. One of my favorite players, and he's actually was a Chiefs player, was Tony Gonzalez. And so the coach, shouts out to Coach Sharp, told me he's going to make me like Tony Gonzalez, a basketball player / tight end, scoring touch. I'm like, okay, I'm with it. And I wasn't fully aware of what goes on in football. And halfway through, like, middle of two-a-day camp, I'm like, I'm not playing tight end, bro. I'm playing left tackle. What you got me out here doing, man? But Tisdale was one of my guys on the offensive line, man. So how you guys feeling, man, about this matchup Sunday? B, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, man, look. Well, I'm a little concerned with well, first off, let me say that we almost got a full offensive line because I was center.
Right.
So there we go.
Right.
But I'm excited. First off, for the matchup, I think the absolute dream matchup was Packers versus Chiefs. But I know, A2 is Tom Brady versus us.
Right.
So I'm excited about that and about the matchup. But I am nervous.
Nervous. All right.
Fact, I'm nervous because it's a Super Bowl, fam.
Right.
We don't know what could go on.
Right.
And yes, Patrick has showed the ability to rise up to any occasion that has been thrown his way. including being down 10 in the Super Bowl. But our left tackle and our right tackle ain't there, man.
Right.
And that's the strong point of the Buccaneers defense. Their defensive line gets busy.
Right.
And number 50 is coming back, and he's an absolute problem.
Right.
So I'm concerned. I'm really concerned that Fisher, who's been an anchor since he was our first pick in 2013, and Mitchell Schwartz was already out.
Right.
So, man, we got Andrew Wiley, and I've dissected tape on him on Twitter, and it ain't too pretty with Andrew Wiley.
Right.
I'm being straight up with you.
Right.
And then Kilgore today with the coronavirus scare that we got.
Right.
Guys is getting a haircut.
Yeah.
20 other Chiefs players, including Patrick, is supposed to get a haircut from the same guy.
Right.
And thank God that
he didn't get that cut, man. Yeah.
So I am nervous. I do think that the Super Bowl could go the way of a defensive struggle. I really do feel that way. And I feel that way because of what I just mentioned with the Bucs defensive line.
Right.
They can get after us with our lack of depth on our offensive line. But our defense gets busy too.
Yeah, they get busy too, man. And they've been playing solid, this last few games, man. I mean, honestly, since last year when Pat went down, I really felt like that was the thing that really anchored your defense, and they turned things around when Pat got injured last year. They've been building off that momentum ever since then, because you guys got some dogs out there. You can't deny that. So, Tiz, let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you, I want to kind of backtrack. So, prior to this season, you guys had Jameis Winston, which is my guy, Florida State, right? Mm-hmm. So how are you feeling about moving on from Jameis Winston to Tom Brady? Were you all for it? Because I know some people I know are kind of Bucs fans are like, man, Tom Brady's over the hill. It's not going to do much. Did you ever think that Tom Brady's going to be able to lead you guys to the Super Bowl in his first year coming back to a brand new team?
Yeah, I actually have my expectations set low because I wasn't sure what to expect. You got a 43-year-old Tom Brady with a brand new team, with a very limited offseason, and you just didn't know what to expect. So, and then they struggled throughout the season. They had some high points and some lows. We struggled with getting past the Saints, during the regular season, which I was so happy to see that they was able to beat them in the playoffs. So, all that considered, I'm like, well, they made it to the playoff. I expected maybe a couple wins, even that. But to see them in the Super Bowl, it definitely was like, wow, I didn't expect that one. So, yeah, they exceeded my expectations. So it's all, gravy.
You're right. You're going to write on out. You're going to write on. So, B, let me ask you this question, because you mentioned kind of everyone's dream matchup was the State Farm matchup, right? And I kind of thought that too. Pat Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers, two of the top elites. But we are still getting one of the elite quarterbacks in Tom Brady. So do you feel, and I asked this question on Twitter, and people are like, what are you talking about, Tuck? Do you feel like this is a must-win game for Pat Mahomes' legacy? Because we know what happened when you guys played the Patriots, and we really should have beat them, back in the game against New England 2 years ago. Do you feel like for him ever to, leapfrog Tom Brady, Pat has to be able to say he knocked off Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and this might be that one opportunity?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And best believe that 15 believe that too.
Right.
Let's be clear. We're talking about it in the media, ESPN, NFL Network. They're talking about it. You don't think Patrick Mahomes think about this?
Right.
And you talked about the dream matchup, and I mentioned it earlier. And back 2 weeks ago during the NFC title game, I really did not know who to go for.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers gets busy.
Right.
Okay, let's be clear on that, man. That man is special.
Right.
J Tuck, I'm sorry, bro.
Right. I know.
But,
trust me, if anybody knows, I know, man. And so, I mean, the way that Tom Brady has put you guys through headaches is our Aaron Rodgers for us. Only difference is Aaron Rodgers hasn't taken it to that next level, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers is the beast.
So I was like, man, Devontae Adams is a monster. He is a top 3 wideout in the league. I don't care what nobody says.
Right.
You can't name 5 receivers better or 4 receivers better than Devontae Adams, a supreme route runner. He's cold-blooded, man. But so that's that side. But then you got the other side, fam.
Right.
Okay, listen. y'all play football, I play football.
Right.
And you know about the competitive nature of people in your locker room.
Right.
Right? Tom Brady's competitive nature is right there with Jordan, in my opinion.
Right.
So the last thing I wanted to face was Tom Brady in a Super Bowl.
Right.
I don't want to face this man in no Super Bowl. He's going for ring number 7.
Right.
10
crazy.
Super Bowls, fam. I don't want to see this dude in the Super Bowl. I don't.
Right.
I'm being honest with you. I don't, man. Tom Brady is, y'all know, man, when like in a football team, like when you got the camaraderie, when you with your teammates and y'all bonding off the field,
Mm-hmm.
and then on the field, you know what I'm saying? You in a huddle, things are tight. You don't think that competitive, everybody don't have that extra competitive chip, dog.
Right.
It's only a few that got it. Jordan
Right.
got it. Kobe got it. Tom Brady has it. Tiger Woods got it. Serena Williams got it. It's just a few. Muhammad Ali. Tom Brady got it.
Yeah, he got it.
So,
and he posted something on Twitter the other day, and he was like, "Everyone comment your captions." I was like, "Don't y'all do that, because that's a trap." He's looking for something to fire him up, because of course the Chiefs aren't going to give him no bulletin board material. So he was just waiting to see if someone was going to go on Twitter and say, "You know what, you about to get blown out." So like my guy Peanut said, "Nah, blowout's coming." He wants to hear that, man. You can't edge those players like Tom Brady's on. So Tiz, let me ask you this. What have you seen being the biggest difference from moving on from Jameis to Tom Brady, like the confidence-wise that you see with some of these younger players versus last year, what you're seeing this year?
I think with Tom Brady's experience and just being in such a very strong system with the Patriots, and they, just the Patriot way, I think he's been able to bring a lot of that over to the Buccaneers, and he's a winner. And when you got a winner, people follow winners. And I think he's been able to change that culture. So to a lot of great talent on that team, but I think a lot of it just hadn't ever been fully realized until you get a guy like Tom Brady and you can put it all together. And so the coaches, seeing what he can do, and then they finally coming up with a system that will work with him. It's just one of those things where it's just when you put a champion into a team, that the heart of a champion is going to always, move the team forward.
Right.
So
he's heart of a champion, man. He's the guy that you can rally around and that you actually trust. Because, like, no knocks to my guy Jameis. I mean, he was a proven winner in college, but in the NFL, he hasn't had that success. So when you have a Tom Brady entering your locker room, you straighten up automatically. All the kind of stuff you were probably just doing pretty much half-assed in practice, you don't do that no more because you have someone that's holding you accountable. So, Brian, I'm gonna ask you this, bro, because of course it's a Cowboys channel, right? And it's been, 25 years, Cowboys fans. But the Chiefs, you guys were 50 or so, give or take, before you guys had the Super Bowl. And
50 years.
50 years. I was at the AFC championship game last year and got to see that whole confetti drop. So what do you think has been the most important piece, besides Patrick, of course, but it seems like the culture has taken a drastic shift. You guys are like more focused on free agency. You're more aggressive. What do you think that's all, because the reason why? You think it's just because you have Patrick Mahomes and they're just going all in right now and loading up? Or do you think there's something that's been shifting with the organization, the front office? Take notes, Cowboys fans. So hopefully
I think that the second most important thing besides Patrick is definitely Andy Reid, but he's probably 1B, with Patrick. So that's cheating though, but I'll go with Brett Veach, man. And when we had John Dorsey, Dorsey is responsible for drafting Chris Jones, Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
He was there when Patrick was drafted, and then subsequently, like 2 or 3 months later, after I saw him at our rookie symposium or whatever it was, when they introduced the rookies to the season ticket holders and stuff, I saw him there, and then like a week later, he got fired.
Right.
So, but everybody knows that it was Brett Veach that actually brought the tape, and he was bugging Andy Reid. Everybody knows the story about that. So Brett Veach really gets the credit for drafting Patrick, but his aggressiveness in free agency is we've been aggressive before,
right?
And we failed. All right.
Right.
So I'm gonna take you back to 1997, 98. Uh, when we got Wayne Simmons on defense, and we got Bam Morris, we got him on offense, and then what do you know? They get in trouble. Tamarick Vanover gets in trouble for
Right.
for some drug charges or something. So my point is let me take you back to 2002. 2003 when we got Sean Barber and Bell from the Steelers. Remember him, the linebacker, 99,
Right.
97 or 99? I can't remember his number. Bell from the Steelers. And we got Bonnie Holiday after he had like 15 sacks or something for the Packers. One of those games, he had like 6 sacks.
Right.
So my point is we're spending our money wisely now. Instead of just being aggressive and going out and getting free agents. The other thing with that, how Brett Veach ties into Patrick Mahomes, is that we don't want to be the Houston Texans.
Right.
We don't want to be the Chicago Bears.
Right.
So what I mean by that is I don't think that those organizations have done a good job of surrounding their young quarterbacks with playmakers.
Right.
Like Brett Veach and Andy Reid had a plan. We got this rookie contract with Patrick. We know he's special. We got 2 pieces, the 2 most important pieces already with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
Right.
Okay. So all we need is a fix here, a fix there. We need some dogs on defense, and we got 2 dogs, and Matthew and Frank Clark from free agency. And people are a little down on big game Frank because of his regular season output or lack thereof or whatever. But man, I got a theory behind that we can spend a whole podcast on. But playoff Frank shows up, and he's been showing up in both of these games. So Brett Veach, to answer your question, Brett Veach is definitely the second key if it wasn't for, next to Patrick and Andy Reid.
Right. Yeah. So Tiz, I'm gonna ask you the same question. So what has been the biggest key point besides, just bringing in Tom Brady, for this season? Because you guys did get off to a rocky start. You guys didn't start off on a blazing trail. Kansas City's pretty much been the top dogs out the gate, but for you guys, it kind of got to a rugged start, but it seems like the later half of the season, you started to put the pieces together. So what do you really contribute that to as far as, as for the Bucs?
Well, definitely you got an experienced quarterback with Tom Brady who knows how to win and has been in many situations where they've had, good seasons and they had decent seasons. And so with the talent that he has around him, I think it was just a matter of time. They just needed to figure out what's going to work and try to get everything to click. You got the wide receivers there. You got the tight ends there. You got the extra talent that's been brought in with Antonio Brown, as well as bringing in Gronkowski. And then you got experienced coaches, as well as a pretty brilliant-minded offensive coordinator and an experienced defensive coordinator with Todd Bowles. So all the pieces has always been there. It was just a matter of always, getting everything put together so that way they can have a successful season and find a success. And I think along with that, with the coronavirus, they didn't have any OTAs, very limited camp. I think it was going to take a little bit. It was going to have to use some of that season to basically make up what they probably could have worked out the kinks of in preseason. So I think it was just, they just had to, figure things out in a hurry. And luckily they just had a lot of brilliant minds around them, as well as a very winning quarterback, from that has all these Super Bowls. So I think that mentality, and then people know who Tom Brady is, and they want to play hard for Tom Brady. It's almost kind of like being on the field with the Michael Jordan. It's like, oh man, like this is the guy, this is the GOAT. We are, in the presence of greatness. We got to make sure that we bring our best and bring our A games all the time, man. So I think it was just I didn't expect, like I say, for everything to work out the way it did, but it has. And I think it was just a matter of everybody, buying into what the Buccaneers are trying to do and understanding that with Tom Brady's age, they probably got a short time span to be able to accomplish all that.
Right. And I agree. And so you mentioned something, Tiz, and I've been saying this on Twitter, right? And honestly, I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan, to be honest with you. It really didn't happen until late in his career where I'm just like, all right, there's nothing else I can say against this guy. Like, he's just, greatness. But do you think that if Tom Brady is able to come back at his age, 43, and is able to beat the young hot gun, Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, this Chiefs offense, this team that we know, is he able to leapfrog Michael Jordan as one of the all-time great sports figures of all time?
I think it's going to be a very subjective and controversial take, just because, of course, he's arguably the greatest quarterback in the NFL. And so, but when you start thinking about the greatest athlete, it's just so much to compare to. You got
Right.
Michael Jordans, you got even, Muhammad Ali, Serena Williams, and so many great athletes that, are great. But, if you just, they're the greats in their own sport, but far as who's been the most transcendent, it's going to be what you put more emphasis on. You got Michael
Right.
Jordan with not only one of the greatest basketball players, but one of the greatest shoe collections. So
Right. Great sports figures. Right.
ain't nobody wearing no Tom Brady's out here. Ain't no
Right.
throwing on any of them Uggs that Tom Brady's wearing. And I think just that, it's kind of hard to compare to. If you talk to a football fan, absolutely, they'll probably look at Tom Brady as probably the greatest athlete of all time. A basketball fan won't feel the same way. It might be a pure sports head that might be able to distinguish what they feel is the most important. But if you compare championships, Michael Jordan got plenty of them.
Right.
Tom Brady has, just as many. And like I
Right.
say, of course, if he gets a seventh one, everybody's gonna be like, well, that kind of leapfrog. So I think it's gonna be interesting conversation. I'm sure, people will, have fun with that convo, but
Right.
it's really hard to say which one is going to be the one that's, everybody's going to look at as the greatest athlete of all time.
Right, right. And my guy Brian, man, he's one of the most spoiled sports fans this past year, man, because he's also a Lakers fan.
Moi?
Yeah, moi. He's spoiled, man.
Okay, go back to 2012 and tell me that. Right?
No, man, you spoiled, man.
When my Royals, Chiefs, and Lakers was just terrible.
Yeah, but then you get Pat Mahomes, and then you also get LeBron James, man. It makes life so much easier, so you don't have to worry. So let me ask you that same question, though. Do you feel like
this?
Well, I deserve it too, Dan.
Bro, come on, bro. You got 5. Come on, man. You got 5. Let us have some, man.
5 what?
The Super Bowl.
So shouts out to Cowboys Twitter, man. We had this thing going where we were posting pictures of how old we was when the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, and I had on cross colors, man. I had on cross colors. That's how old it's been, man. Like, nah. And here's the thing. At least you guys have been competitive and kind of sniffed it. We haven't even been to an NFC Championship game since then, man. NFC Championship.
Come on, J Tug. Sniffing it and actually having it is 2 different worlds, bro.
But I just want to at least let me get close, though. At least let me get close to it, man. Like I just want to.
You don't want that.
Yeah, I'll take.
Be the 49ers.
I'll take it. I will take it, man. Sitting there at y'all stadium last. Sitting there at y'all stadium last year during the AFC Championship games, like, bro, I want to play in a game with this magnitude. Can I just get one? Can I just get one game? You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. It's crazy that Cowboys fans are talking to Chiefs fans about.
I know how the table will turn.
It's crazy that I get crap on Madden for playing with the Chiefs. I'm like, man, listen. I play with Damon Heward. I played with Trent Green. I played with Alex Smith. I played with Steve DeBerg. I played with Joe Montana when he was old. I played with Steve Bono. I played seasons with Matt Castle as my quarterback.
Right.
I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve it. That's why when we played Madden and you lined up with the Chiefs, I couldn't say nothing. You got your team and I got my team. But of course, our Cowboys handle our stuff accordingly. But
I played a game where my starting offense was Matt Castle, Dwayne Bowe. I love Dwayne Bowe. That's my dog. But Dwayne Bowe, Mark Bradley.
All right.
Okay, Chris Chambers was the other receiver.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I deserve Julian Battle was my running back.
You've earned it. You've earned it. And that's what it's all about being a loyal fan. I've been trying to explain this, man. Even though you've gone through that pain, those ups and downs of the Chiefs and also a Tampa, man, it makes it so much more rewarding when you stick and ride it out. But it's a painful ride, to be honest with you. But like you get to this point where everything just clicks, and now it's just Chiefs' turn. Now it's the Bucs' turn. Hopefully, man, one day I'll get my turn. But let me ask you that same question, B. Do you feel like Tom Brady could leapfrog Jordan when it comes to overall just thinking about that sports GOAT? Don't think so? Are you thinking of the magnitude of Jordan because, what he did off the court? When we just think about?
Man, look. So the most loved is always the most hated. Jesus Christ, Barack Obama, Kobe Bryant, Donald Trump. Right. The most love is always the most hated.
Right.
So, and with Jordan, I feel like that's, first off, they differ on the business end because of the fact that Jordans are still popping. I still buy Jordans.
Right.
Come on, man. Jordan ain't played a game since 2003.
Right.
And that's when he was washed. So not only on the business end, but I find it's hard for me to find people that really dislike Michael Jordan, like really dislike him.
Oh, well, I can name a whole bunch of you. On Twitter?
I know it's a few, but I bet you can name plenty people that hate Tom Brady. I know you can for the cheating scandals. Okay, and let me be clear. First off, I love Tom Brady. I've stated that on Twitter. Check me out, Brian B. Shynin. I state that Tom Brady is excellence, and you cannot hate on greatness like that, dog. This man is 43, right?
Right, 43.
43.
Right.
Playing in a Super Bowl, and the NFC was stacked.
Right.
Yes, he got a good team around him. But to do that at Phillip Rivers, look at Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger this year.
Right. Or even look at Drew Brees. Drew
Brees.
Right.
Come on, man. But with that being said, though, there's a lot of people who don't like Tom Brady.
Right.
It is. And I think likability has a lot to do with how people perceive you and how you can market yourself. The TB12 thing, I mean, it's working for him, but everybody ain't rocking with TB12, fam. Not everybody, but a lot of people can recognize that. Jordan, you got his arch nemesis when he was playing basketball, Patrick Ewing wearing a Jordan logo on the damn Georgetown.
Right. Right.
Come on. You can't get no bigger than that, man. Come on.
Yeah. Hell, I'm named after Jordan, man. So y'all know where I stand. It was just a question that So it's a question though, because a lot of people have been. I've been seeing it kind of float around, like, bro, if he comes back at 43 and just beats the Chiefs in a Super Bowl and wins, it's gonna be that conversation is gonna be there. But just the impact of Jordan, it's kind of hard to have that conversation because Jordan has a nostalgia with us, man. Because he was 6 for 6, never lost. We never saw Jordan have a Nick Foles moment or have a Eli Manning, kind of moment. So when it comes to it, man, but hats off to Tom Brady. So I'm gonna ask you guys this question, Tiz, and Brian kind of mentioned this earlier. So what are some things that you think, what? I see some holes in the Chiefs, and I think that we can definitely take advantage of this and actually win this ball game on Sunday.
Well, the big thing that was already, mentioned that line. So, we got one of the number one rushing defense. That front five. You know what I'm saying? When you got JPP, Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea. You know what I'm saying? Nunez Roches, and it's Talon Sue up there as well. I mean, they can get after it, man. There's no slouches up there. So I feel like if they can take advantage of anything, if they can get a good rush on Patrick Mahomes, which is not going to be an easy task because, like I said, that man can move as well. But, they was able to put that pressure on Aaron Rodgers as well as, they did it the same thing with Drew Brees. So the talent is there. And so I feel like that's going to probably be the difference maker in it as well. As far as the offense is concerned, I don't know. Chiefs got a decent pass rush. So I feel like the offense may be able to hold a little longer to give Tom Brady some time to be able to make a decision and be able to find whatever weapon is available to be able to, make whatever big play is necessary. So, as far as that's concerned, I think more so the defense is going to have the edge, but it's hard to say. You got one of the greatest quarterbacks on the other side and Patrick Mahomes. So, that man has done some incredible things. And like I say, that first game didn't turn out too well, but at the end of the day, it was just a 3-point game. So hopefully we can get something just as competitive, and maybe we turn it on the winning side as well. So, we'll see what happens there. But I think, that's probably the edge on the defensive side, and the line, the offensive line, I think is got a little edge over the Chiefs defensive line. So
and defensively, the Chiefs' struggle, I would say, has been stopping the run. So could we see a big day possibly from Leonard Fournette? How do you feel about Leonard Fournette? Do you feel like he's going to be one of the guys moving forward in Tampa, or is this kind of a temporary stop for him? Because I know he's kind of been up and down. Pretty much sunk my fantasy football team because I picked him. So how do you Bucs fans feel about Leonard Fournette in his run game? Because I know you guys have Ronald Jones and some of the other guys out there.
Yeah, I like Fournette. He's actually been very, competitive in his playoffs. But I think I got a soft spot for Ronald Jones because I felt like he was on the brink of them moving on from moving on from them. So the fact that he's been able to have a pretty good season, and then to have a hell of a backup with Leonard Fournette, I think that's been something that that they've been able to take advantage of on many opportunities. But as far as Fournette moving on in the future, I hope we can keep him. I wonder if he's able to win, he may want to go ahead and chase that bread again. So he might be looking for a big contract. And I'm not sure what Ronald Jones' contract situation is for next year, but as far as who's the better back, at times I've seen Ronald Jones be more explosive, and then it seems like he has a little bit more finesse than Leonard Fournette. But Leonard Fournette kind of comes in as that power back. He can get them nasty yards. So if you got a little short, like a 3rd and 2 or something, you throw Fournette in there, he usually can get it. But I've also seen him get stopped in a hole, like where I thought he should have been able to push through a pile. But it's really hard to say. But like I say, as of right now, I'm glad he's with the team, and I'm hoping he's going to be the X factor come Sunday.
Right. So we're going to pivot just slightly, and we'll get back to the Super Bowl. But we got to do some Cowboys conversation on this channel, man. So I'm going to throw out a few names. I'm going to get both of you guys' thoughts, just as, outside fans, what I'm saying? Because they think that I'm biased because I'm a Cowboys fan. That's when I got to get your guys' input on this. So Dak Prescott, as we all know, he's been franchise tagged. Possibly he's in negotiation that could be a franchise tag moving forward this year, which could lead to his last season in Dallas, which I do believe. I think this is pretty much the end. So tell me, B, what is your thoughts on Dak Prescott, and what should the Cowboys do if you were a Cowboys fan? Oh, I think we lost your audio. Oh, let's see. Check. Oh, then we lost it. Yeah. All right, Tiz, well, I'm gonna ask you. What's your thoughts on Dak Prescott, and what would you do as a Dallas Cowboys fan?
Man, I know people love Dak Prescott, man, and he's had some really great moments for y'all. And it's hard, because I feel like the loyal ones should always be paid, but we know how the NFL is. NFL not for long, or not friendly, not loyal. Whatever you want to say, but I would like to see the Cowboys go ahead and pay him, but it doesn't necessarily make sense from a sports perspective, because there's other things you guys need to address. I mean, the defense kind of struggled, kind of went a little bit backwards this year. So it doesn't necessarily make sense to be giving Dak Prescott a whole bunch of money, and then, you don't have enough money to fill out where the weak spots in the defense. So if I feel like if it turns into one of them things where they have to decide on moving on without him, maybe that might be the best move. But they also got that franchise tag. Franchise tag, throw it on him one more year, see if he can, recover from that injury, and if he has some more in the tank to be able to prove his worth, and then maybe he's worth it. I mean, I have a split. As a sports fan, I can't see y'all keeping him. But as a person that's been loyal, I didn't want to see Jameis Winston go, but I understand I understand why he might have been better to move on to Tom Brady with the mistakes he made. So so from a football standpoint, I can't see Dallas making any sense of overpaying him to keep him on the roster.
B, you good? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
First
so go ahead.
Well, I got a FaceTime call. That's what disrupted things.
Okay.
But I apologize for that.
You good?
I want to say send some prayers up to Dak. I know he's still recovering. I know he's doing good, but with injuries, dog, you just never know.
Right.
Hence Alex Smith. So that was a gruesome injury that man suffered. However, I do think he can bounce back. And Dak showed me something this year during those few games that I did see, man. The way that his teammates responded to him, that was special. And I know, like, in football, you kind of respond to all your teammates. Everybody is equal.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got your star players or whatever. But for the most part, man, when you in that locker room and y'all eating together or whatever, everybody is one. So with that being said, man, I think that you all should definitely sign him. But you got to get a new coach, bro. McCarthy ain't it. He ain't. You got to get a new coach.
Hey, that's not me talking, y'all. That's.
I'm from the outside, and I listen. I love everybody in here, but I'm gonna tell y'all like this: I do not like the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna be honest with you. They are the generic Chiefs, number one. Number two, their fans always was getting on my head about my Chiefs in 2009 when y'all came to Arrowhead and won in overtime with Miles Austin. But I ain't gonna get into
But
none
y'all,
of that.
but y'all won the next one. Y'all won the next one, right? Was that 2011?
And then we paid 2013. The whole
2013, and then we paid y'all back in Dallas.
Was the first time we wore all red.
Yeah, and then we paid y'all back in Dallas. Yeah. So
the game that I'm most upset about between the Chiefs and the Cowboys is the 2005 game. We should have won that. Lawrence Tynes missed the field goal. Dante Hall caught like a deep pass during the middle with like 5 seconds left. Anyway.
Well, we gonna run it back next year. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. I can't wait.
I think we got both of y'all next year. Actually, we got both of y'all. So,
but back to what I was saying about Dallas, man. Imagine Dak Prescott in a Sean McVay offense. I'm not saying y'all getting Sean McVay.
Right.
What I am saying is if Jared Goff can take them to the Super Bowl,
right.
I think that Dak Prescott can take them and possibly win the Super Bowl.
Right.
So yes, I think you should sign Dak. Now the number, I don't know. Patrick is 50. I don't know who's the next after that. Like 50 mil a year. I don't know who's next after that. But
I think Russell Wilson.
What is the price that he's gonna ask for?
I think what he's wanting is Watson money, which I think he deserves.
Which is what?
Like 40. I think he's 40.
40? Yeah, I can do 40 with that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be longer than like a 4-year contract though.
Well, he's been wanting a 4-year, but they've been trying to give him the 5. That's kind of been when the negotiations has been separated. Last year he wanted a 4-year deal. He would have took it. Jerry Jones is saying we don't do 4-year deals, we do 5. And here we are.
Man, see, look, and from the outside, I'm gonna tell y'all like this too. A bad owner or a bad front office can really deteriorate your team. And I'm not saying that the Cowboys got a bad front office, but Jerry Jones, man, he, we seen him he's Al Davis part 2.
Right. He does too much. Like I said, y'all, I live here in Kansas City. It wasn't until the AFC Championship game I saw what Hunt actually looked like. Because he doesn't have his own radio show. He doesn't have his own TV show. He's not all on the camera, overstepping his boundaries with Andy Reid and his coaching staff. He just sits back, lets the people he hired run the show, and that's what he does. But not in Dallas, man. We got to have our owner front and center. He got to be on cam. He got to be on his radio show every Monday.
Got to be in the video.
He is. He's the beauty of football, man. And so it's really just hard. But this negotiation with Dak is gone sour, I think. And to be honest with y'all, if Dak isn't signed next month before free agency and he's franchise tag, it'll be the end because I don't see them working on a deal by the summer. So
where's he going?
Free agency.
I'm saying, like, what team?
I mean, you could think about it. You could it would be Houston. So you have probably the Colts will be in the market. Ben Roethlisberger probably has 1 year left. He'll probably be done. Maybe they move on from Jay's Patriots. Like somebody's going to be out there that's going to really pay him that premium price. And like I've been saying, y'all, he might put himself not only in a better situation financially, but also football-wise. You mentioned if he's able to think about it, if Dak Prescott was to go to the Steelers, that would be a huge boost to their offense, and they would be competitive, playing competitive games.
Bro,
also Denver as well.
If Dak Prescott go to the Colts, they're going to be a whole issue to deal with.
See, exactly.
They got a stout defense,
offensive line,
fantastic running game, good offensive line. They do need some receivers.
Right.
But Dak with them, that would be nasty.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably what they're sitting back and waiting. Like, let me just sit back and chill and see what happens with this situation. I think they also mentioned possibly San Francisco. I mean, San Francisco might be high on.
No.
So one of those
that
teams,
defense.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. It's like we're gonna let him walk, and one of these teams are gonna sit back and say, you know what? How much you want for that 4 years? We're all in. Take it.
So what do y'all do?
Cowboys fans, tell us what we do because that's what I've been asking. What's our plan? What's our plan? We ain't got no plan. We ain't got.
There's no plan B.
There is no plan B. There really isn't. There really isn't. Like I said, the only plan B I could see is if we were to take one of these young quarterbacks in the draft, sit him for a year under Dak, let him learn the ropes, and then we move on to that. And I think that sets our team back, especially with all the weapons that we currently have. So speaking of weapons, I want to get you guys' thought when I said the name Ezekiel Elliott. How do you guys feel about Ezekiel Elliott at this point in his career?
Oh.
I'm gonna let you have. You want to have? Or you want to?
Okay.
Oh God, they did a neck scratch on me with Zeke. Oh, okay.
No, I think Zeke is a hell of a talent, man. And, when he had his great years, he was one of them things where, he was a sight to see. But it just seemed like, and I don't know if this is just, it seems to be common with a lot of players after a contract year, they tend to struggle.
Right.
And, I don't know if he's losing any juice, if he's losing motivation, if the Dak situation brought him down or what. But it seemed like he got paid and he just laid. And it was just like he really wasn't doing a whole lot this year. And it was just like, I mean, I think he's still a great talented running back, but I mean, we'll have to see. I'm not picking him like in any of the first 4 rounds of fantasy football.
Man, look, I think y'all just paid the wrong guy.
Oh yeah,
That is plain and simple, man.
Right.
Y'all should have paid Dak. You shouldn't have paid Ezekiel Elliott is a great back, man. Power back. He's fast enough. He doesn't have breakaway speed, but he's fast enough. But that power is unmatched. Plus, y'all offensive line ain't what it used to be.
Right.
And I think for any great team, that is a key.
Right.
And we are all linemen in this room, and we know the ball don't move without us.
Right.
So I think that Ezekiel Elliott was the recipient of a great O-line and a great scheme, plus a weak schedule in 16. In my opinion, I'm not knocking Dallas for that.
Right.
You win the games that you play. But the fact is,
we got a week one next year too. So let's eat.
So I think he still has talent, but there was some concerning signs with him this year.
The turnover, the fumbling.
Don't wear the blue sleeves no more.
Right.
I think there was some effort issues in some games, not all games, and maybe it could be in a little better shape. I know somebody mentioned that he looks washed. I'm not gonna go that far with it, but it was some games where, damn, like, bro, a few years ago you would have broke that off.
Right.
So, I just think y'all just paid the wrong guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because no NFL franchise would pay their running back before they would pay their franchise quarterback. It just doesn't make sense. But that's just the things we got to deal with as Cowboys fans. And so y'all understand why we're so frustrated and irritated, because nobody does that. Can you think if they would have came out and, I mean, not Clyde Edwards because he was a rookie, but let's say, Williams. It came out and signed Damian Williams before they signed Pat. Like, you like, what are y'all doing? Like, you're like, nobody does that, man. But I think what happened is Zeke kind of held Jerry's feet to the fire. He panicked, and here we are. And so it's just like, you know what? I don't know, man. So from the outside perspective, you mentioned, maybe moving on from the coach, re-signing Dak. But what is another thing that you guys can say, you know what? If the Cowboys do this, they can get back on the track to being what they used to be back in the 90s.
Well, I mean, having Dak back and a better coach definitely propels you into I had the Cowboys getting the number 2 or 3 seed this year. I thought.
Well, everyone keeps predicting us versus y'all for the Super Bowl. Like, I need to quit that.
I thought McCarthy was in his dungeon and he came up with all these magical plays.
Right.
And it just, the Dak injury just totally altered the season. You can't ask a coach to win with, the backup quarterbacks that he had.
Right.
But with that being said, though, I really do think the coaching is the key with y'all and y'all defensive backs.
Right.
I think fixing those two will go a long way. Don't y'all got some decisions on your defensive line too to make?
Not really. The defensive line, for the most part, they're signed, but we do got some veteran guys. I think about 9 people in our defense are in contract years. So, there's going to have to be some decisions there too.
One more thing, the last thing, 55, Vander Esch. That man is great. That's a great football player.
What about 54?
He's got to stay healthy. He's got when he's off the field. I don't want to say y'all a different team, but you're definitely weakened defensively when he's not on the field, because that man, he can ball. At 54, he shows flashes, but at times it's like the Browns play, like against the Browns. it was a couple effort plays in there that I recall that I don't think he was giving it his all. So
Yeah, my guy Tyler said he wants more Chiefs talk, man. No one cares about this Cowboys. Like, calm
you
down,
know, with
man.
that, let's go.
Calm down, bro. So I had to bring on my guy, man. My guy Darren Smith, the honorable Darren Smith, man. He's
What's up, Mr. Smith? What's
he's
happening,
in
y'all?
he's
What's
in
going on, fellas?
Tampa, living a good life, interviewing Pat and all the players, Super Bowl life. He just leaves us, man, in the dark, man. So D, man, we were talking about a few things. We're actually talking about the Cowboys. I mean, if you want to chime in, because I know you always got something to say.
Okay, hold on. Couple things. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. Second of all, now a lot of people don't know this, but me and Brian had a falling out a few years ago. We made up, but I want everybody to know. Make sure you follow Brian. He's a great guy. My favorite DJ out at 103 right now. I follow this man on Twitter. Now I get on his head from time to time because he's always retweeting Pete Sweeney instead of me. But I'm gonna let him go on that one. But it's good to finally get on.
Yeah.
I wish I could have came earlier, but
You're good, man. You working, man.
the convention. Yeah. So
oh, yeah, you working, man. So let me ask you
but-
this: since you down there covering the Super Bowl, man, how was the atmosphere? It's kind of different Super Bowl, COVID and whatnot. Does it feel like it felt last year in Miami, or is it feel a little bit off?
No, not at all. No, and the main reason why is you got to remember this is a tourist destination, but also this is the first time the Super Bowl is being hosted by the home team. So
Right.
you don't have two different cities, two different fan bases that are coming and spending all that money. You have basically Chiefs fans who might be coming in. Maybe tomorrow or Friday over the weekend or something, versus people who just live here and they go about their everyday life that might go, and do something during the NFL experience, but then they still got to go to work. They still, they go into their own bed, so they're not spending hotel money. They're not going out to eat, stuff like that, because they live here. So that's so you don't get that type of feel. Now the people themselves, they're very confident about Sunday's game. I don't know why, because the last time these two teams played, they caught an L. But I keep trying to tell them, the same thing happened in November is going to happen again on Sunday.
Okay. Confidence, man, coming in confidence. So you've been interviewing some of the players and caught, your interviews online. Definitely follow my guy on Twitter. So what do you think the mentality is when it comes to this team getting prepared for Sunday's matchup? Do you sense it that, they're still as focused as they was last year? Because that's the hardest part about it. You're going back to back. You're trying to run it back. So is that hunger really still there? Because I was asking the question as a fan. I saw Brian. He was kind of nervous about the game. I was like, man, you guys won last year. Like, what I'm saying? Like, you're playing with house money. But do you think that Andy Reid really has to huh?
I said B was nervous. You was nervous,
Man,
B?
look, hey, Mr. Smith, you a football guy like I am.
Hold on, man. Hold on. It's Darren, man. Come on, man.
I'm a respect.
Come on, man. It's Darren.
I deal with respect, man. But I the offensive line concerns me, and
that's fair.
And the reason why it does concern me is because that's the way the Giants beat the Patriots in 2007 and in 2011. All right. So yes, I am very concerned, and that's how teams beat us. When they get after Patrick, you cutting the snake off at the head.
True, but two things. But one Patrick. I mean, Brady ain't Patrick. So Brady even back then couldn't move like Patrick can. So that's the first thing. And look, that's a fair concern as it relates to the offensive line, because I have some concerns as well. But my comeback to that would be is that as much as as much as I hated, Patrick's greatest strength is his legs, and so he's not a player that's beholden that sits back in the pocket and looks to throw the ball. He's always trying to make something happen with his legs. So not to say that he's not dependent upon that offensive line, but I don't, but as well as I do, B, and everyone else, that Patrick is great when he's being pressured, because what'll happen is if you don't hurry up and get to him and sack him, if he escapes the pocket left or right, the first thing that a defender has to do, they have to make a choice. Am I going to let Patrick go for a first down? If so, I got to come after him. But if I come after him, somebody's open. He can just dump it off to the open man. Or if I stay with my man, Patrick can go and slide and get you a first down, or drop it off to Kelsey or a running back. So the one thing that we always compliment Andy Reid on is that he is able, it's how well he is after a bye week. The Chiefs are treating this just like a regular road game. They're not, they're at home. They're practicing all week. They're going to leave on Saturday. So the fact that Eric Fisher went down in the championship game, which is 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, it gave Andy and the offensive line coach and everybody else a week to prepare, plug whoever's going to be in there and plug it and do the plays and prepare the scheme like that. Versus him going down in the middle of the Super Bowl or something, then you might have a greater concern. But I think with the 2 weeks that, so I just think that the 2 weeks that Andy has, I think works in their favor because they'll work all that stuff out before. And look, if we praise Andy Reid that much for how he is off the bye week, we kind of got to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think being 19-5 going into the Super Bowl.
That's a good point. Let me add on two things real quick.
Sure.
I think this Super Bowl, and I agree with everything you said, Darren, but I think this Super Bowl comes down to two very important things. The first one being is can Tampa pressure with just 4? Because if you bring 5, Patrick is going to eat you up.
Yeah.
All right. So can you pressure with 4? And I don't believe in the notion that 24 on Tampa Bay is going to get cooked. These guys are NFL players. They all had to beat out somebody for some position somewhere in their lives. So 24, I say that to say that 24 is more than capable of being a good cornerback. And y'all don't think that he's going to think about week 12 in the Super Bowl? That is on that man's mind. So I don't think we're going to eat them up like that. But I do think if the Buccaneers get pressure with 4, we could be in trouble. The second thing that this game is dependent upon is, can our defense stop the run? Can we make Tampa Bay one-dimensional and make Tom Brady wait just a half a second more so that Frank Clark, Chris Jones can get up in there and cause some havoc? Because when you get to Brady, this is the one thing I do like about this game for us, is that if you do get to Brady, it changes the whole game. And nobody does it better in the history of Tom Brady's career than Steve Spagnuolo. And that's where I feel confident in us winning, because he's beaten in 2 Super Bowls before.
So let me get to your second point first. I'm with you on that. That is the biggest concern. I was talking with Steve Weiss from the NFL Network earlier today, and that was his same thing as me, is that Kansas City being able to stop the run. That's something that they haven't been able to really do all season. But the question, we always fall back to the conversation. When you're going up against Patrick Mahomes, the quarterbacks always want it to be like a mano. Like they just want to pad their stats against Mahomes because they're playing Patrick Mahomes and he's considered, what we consider him to be. And so, but in this game, I think both quarterbacks, if it takes rushing for 245 yards, like the Chiefs did against Buffalo in Week 6, if that's what it takes to win the Super Bowl, both players and both teams are willing to do it. To your point about the first thing, I think that you might see something different. I think Tampa Bay might try to go after Patrick with 3 down linemen. I think they might try to go after with Ndamukong Suh, JPP, and the other guy I can't think. I just can't.
50.
Yeah. And so I can see them trying to go after with 3. If they can get pressure with 3, then that allows you to drop 8 back. I mean, and the Chiefs had problems with that earlier this season.
Against the Raiders.
The Raiders did some, So I mean, so now again, because they've seen it, I think that they can adjust for it. But here's the thing: when you beat a team, you generally think that your game plan going into the next game, next time you face them, work because you beat them the first time around. It is up to the losing team to make those adjustments. I'm like you. I want to see what they're going to do the second time around facing the Chiefs. I don't think that they're going to single cover Tyreek Hill at all in that game. If they do, then obviously Patrick will see it and he'll throw for 200 yards to Tyreek in the first quarter again. I don't see that happening. But to your point about number 24, look, they all get paid, but there's still levels to this too. And so
you're right. That's facts.
That's the one thing. So, but now I will say this: to me, if you're going to beat Kansas City, I think the recipe to do it, me and everyone else, is that you got to go back to that Bill Belichick game in the AFC Championship game in 2018 where the Patriots knocked them off, because that game they shut down both Tyreek and they shut down Travis Kelce. That was a game, of course, Sammy Watkins had a big game and Damian Williams did. In Kansas City couldn't score a touchdown in that first half. To me, you kind of have to duplicate that performance to kind of beat them, because otherwise, man, you all saw the AFC Championship game. They had 22, Tyreek and Kelce, 22 catches for almost 300 yards.
Right.
And if they do that, which I'm hoping they do because I got money on it. If they would do that Sunday, man, we all gonna be celebrating.
So let me because I'm not gonna keep you guys all night because I know D, you gotta work, man. You guys are grinding out there.
I'm good now.
Are you good?
Good
Okay, cool. But I want to get you guys' predictions, man, for Sunday's matchup. So tell me why, and then also who will be your MVP on Sunday. So Tiz, I'm gonna start with you, man.
Well, I got to go with my boys definitely on this. And so,
somebody
asked me that at the store. I was wearing my Bucs gear, and they was like, "What are you looking for?" And I'm like, probably the Browns or something, just because I just felt it was silly. But nonetheless, though, I felt like if it does come down to it, it's gonna probably be a defensive player. I think somebody's gonna have to step up on the D and really, cause Patrick Mahomes to get uncomfortable. And, make him make some mistakes, force Kansas City to kick a lot of field goals, which say that's probably my best hope is I can, get them to kick field goals more than actually scoring, because I don't want to turn into a shootout, because I feel like the Chiefs, will win that battle if that's the case. So I'm gonna give it to one of the defensive players for MVP and going for a Bucs victory.
What's the final score you got?
I'll say 31-28.
31-28. Ooh, close one. So B, I'm gonna go with you, man. Prediction and who's your Super Bowl MVP?
Man, like I said earlier, I think I think it could be a defensive struggle early. I really do. Maybe this could be similar to the Super Bowl with the Patriots versus the Panthers back in 03-04. But I'm thinking 27-19 Chiefs win. I think we'll get out to a nice lead in the third quarter and we'll start running it. But with that being said, Patrick Mahomes, I can't go against Patrick. Patrick on the field, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes, dog, as an MVP. So 27-19 Chiefs win. Patrick Mahomes gets his second Super Bowl MVP.
D, who you got, man? We already know you put your money at. So
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. D kill me with that score. That score is kind of low, man. That score is low to me. 27-19. I mean, look, I like the result. I just think that's too low, even for me. It's going to take over 30 points to beat Kansas City. I don't have a final score yet. I'm working on that as it gets closer to game day. And it's not to avoid the question, because I truly don't know, because I'm putting money on the game. But my thing is, Kansas City, besides the AFC Championship game, they have yet to cover a point, cover spread over the last 2 months.
Tell me about it. Tell me about
it. I know. Hold on. In case you forgot, I told Patrick about that after the Raiders game.
The Chiefs do not cover for nothing, bro. My account's sitting on empty right now, thanks to the Chiefs, man.
The Chiefs cost me the Chiefs cost me $1,000 in Vegas. I told Patrick post game, I said, "Hey, man, the least I could have done was cover the point spread. Like, I'm glad y'all won, but bro, you couldn't win by 8."
Right.
He was apologizing too, but
Pat got his money. He don't want us to level up, man.
Man, I was mad too. That cost me $900 that night. But $1,900. But look, here's the thing. For Tampa Bay to win, like we said, you have to figure out a way to stop both those weapons. If Sammy Watkins is able to play, I think that's going to be key for Kansas City, because you have to address him, because even if you try to double one or the other, he's going to be there, and he can be a reliable source for Patrick. And look, we cannot ignore the running game for the Chiefs. I know we're worried about the offensive line. But if they can get a 5-yard screen to Allaire or to Le'Veon Bell, that's still just as good as a 5-yard run. Yeah, right. I mean, yeah. And so, but But to be honest, man, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. For me, Kansas City wins the game if they can get up 10-0. And I'm not saying that to be coy, but the thing is, the defense is built to defend the lead versus trying to play catch up. Now,
Right.
obviously, they play a lot of catch up, which
Right.
is worrisome. If you do not hear Frank Clark or Chris Jones's name early in the first half throughout the game, that means that they're not getting pressure on Tom Brady.
Right.
That would be a major concern for Chiefs fans altogether. But I think if Kansas City gets up 7-0 and then they get a stop, have the Bucs go 3-and-out, they get the ball back. If they can go down and score, and it's 14-0, something like that, then I think that gives me a lot more confidence in Kansas City, because with a 2-touchdown lead, now you're going to have the Bucs trying to press and trying to hurry up and score. If they make a mistake, try to throw a pass or something, and you might have Matthew, because with the defense with a 14-point lead, that'll give them more opportunity to rush and go after Brady. And then look, and then if they turn around and they can't get anything, they have to punt the ball back. You give them the ball back to Patrick with a 14-point lead. Well,
Right.
they're going to try to go down and get another touchdown. But now you have 21-0. So I think it's going to be a game of momentum. But I think it's really going to be if Kansas City can score when they have the ball early on, and at least get one. If they get 1 or 2 stops and get that ball back, I see them scoring. But I think Kansas City gets at least 41 points in that game. I need Patrick.
Ooh.
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
got
Patrick.
41.
I got Patrick 5 touchdowns. And I'll say this. I think Mahomes is my MVP, and I was talking about today earlier that I think last year, a lot of people said that Damian Williams should have been the MVP. Either way, I'm good. Chiefs won.
Right.
But Patrick had two interceptions in the second half and didn't have the quote unquote magical game that people were hoping or expecting him to have.
Mhm.
I think this time around, storylines being what it is, Brady versus Mahomes. I think if we want to see like a passing or a snatching of the torch, I think it's imperative that Mahomes and look, how Andy Reid is a real offensive guy. He wants Mahomes to have a great
Right.
that number because Andy Reid somebody who likes to throw the ball. So if Mahomes can have a 400-yard passing game and 4 or 5 touchdowns, Andy Reid would just love that because now he's an offensive genius who's won back Super Bowls. So that's what I see happening. I see Mahomes throwing for 400+ yards. I think he gets 5 touchdowns. I think Kelsey gets 2 touchdowns. Tyreek gets at least 1. Maybe Sammy Watkins gets 1 as well. If he's playing because Mahomes is going to pass the ball around. And I just think at the end of the day, the Chiefs. Everybody's saying that it's hard to repeat, but the Chiefs are going to make it look easy. I think the hardest thing for Kansas City is going to be 3-peating because at the end of I had them going 19-0.
Yeah, it's gonna be real hard to 3-peat,
Darren, you got the confidence of R. Kelly versus Gail right now, dog.
But he should though.
Well, yeah. Remember, I had them going 19-0, so I had them winning regardless, and even when they lost. But back in April, I predicted this matchup. I predicted Chiefs versus the Bucs. So I'm not surprised by the matchup that we have here. So, but I said then that the Chiefs would still win. Will still win this matchup, and I just think again 2 weeks for Andy to prepare, Patrick being healthy, Kelsey. I just think that at the end of the day. I think you or someone may have said it. If it's Patrick versus the field, I got to go with Patrick all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Right.
That's right.
So who am I rolling with this game, man? I feel like
it ain't the Cowboys. I know that. Man.
I'm rolling with the Cowboys, man. To be honest with y'all, I haven't watched a full Super Bowl. I don't know the last full Super Bowl I watched.
What?
Like I didn't watch last year. I knew you guys won because I heard fireworks going off in my neighborhood. I damn sure didn't watch the Patriots versus the Eagles when they won. Like pretty much after the halftime show is done and the food starts to set in, like I'm out, man. Who cares, man? On to the next year, man.
Come on, bro. You not only are you a Cowboys fan, dog, but you a football fan. You watch college football.
Yeah.
I
don't care,
man. Bro, the Super Bowl is the ultimate game of competitiveness in NFL. It's our glory game, dog. You don't watch the Super Bowl?
I mean, I watched some of it. You know,
Bro,
like
so you don't watch the Falcons and Patriots?
No, I didn't see the comeback. To be honest with y'all, I didn't take that. I don't.
What?
If it don't got the star, I really don't care, man.
You didn't watch Patriots Eagles?
I didn't watch the full comeback. I did not see the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl. None of that, man.
Bro, you didn't watch Patriots Seahawks.
I did see that. The interception. I saw that. I saw that one. But for the most part, man, I'm walking off the field middle of the fourth quarter, man.
Chuck, I'm gonna give you some free advice. Chuck, I'm gonna give you some free advice, Chuck. In this business, when you start to blow up some more, don't ever say that you didn't watch X amount of Super Bowls and you didn't see how it turned out. We all boys.
I go back and catch it. I'll watch it after the fact, man. But it's just like, man, I'm just one of those players, man. That's just, if it ain't my team, just like with March Madness. As soon as when KU's out, bro, I don't care. I'm with my team, and it is what it is, man. I'm a sore loser. I admit that. I'm a sore loser, but I just don't care, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I am. That's just how I am. But I will say this, man. I got Kansas City winning the Super Bowl, and I think that they just have too many weapons for Tampa. Also, you got to consider the opportunity that I think that if you go off of what we saw versus Tampa and Green Bay, Tom Brady made costly mistakes. The Green Bay Packers just wasn't able to actually capitalize off of that. So if you do that to Kansas City, it's going to be a good night. So I feel like the Kansas City offense is going to be way too much. And I feel like Kansas City's defense will also be way too much for the Bucs. Now, I feel like it'll be a lot closer game. I pretty much have like 31-20. But I think, you'll see in the second half the Chiefs start to distance themselves because they have so many different weapons. They hit you from so many different angles. As soon as you got Travis Kelce taken care of, here comes Tyreek Hill. You got Tyreek Hill. It's just so many different weapons they can hit you from, man. So I got the Chiefs winning 31-20. Now, I will say this. I feel like Travis Kelce is going to have the biggest game, but Pat Mahomes is actually going to be the MVP, just due to nature, man. So that's what I got, man. Chiefs go back-to-back, win their Super Bowl,
Hey, I do think Tom Brady.
And Brian's mute. Did I mute all of y'all?
Score? Well, you obviously did.
I can't hear Darren. I can't hear Brian.
No, that's you.
Can't hear nobody. Good. Keep it that way, man. Keep it that way, man. Hold on. Let me see what's going on. Did y'all? No, y'all not mute.
Check.
What? I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear B.
Let me see.
I can hear y'all.
I can hear Tiz.
I can hear all of y'all.
Can't hear Brian.
Yeah.
That's it, man. You two muted y'all, man. They muted y'all. That's it, man.
No.
So, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for joining on, man. What the hell happened?
Thank you.
I don't know. We can talk. We good.
Let me refresh and see.
I'm taking over the show. This is the Chief show now. What's happening, man? All you Cowboys fans, this is the Chief show.
Go for it, B. Yeah, do it,
B. I'm sorry, dog. I know you a Bucs fan. We ain't got no beef with the Bucs except for Sunday. But this is the Chief show now. He back now.
That's how it should be. That's what I want to hear after the Super Bowl. Silence, man. Silence. We could all move on and just move on to football, man. Look at people want to bet me, all that, man. Like, nah, bro. I'm a Cowboys fan. If it ain't my team, I can care less. It is what it is. That's how I am. That's how I roll.
Oh, hell, I want that bet. Hold on, you gonna put on who gets more yards, Gill or Kelsey?
Fans only. Y'all not taking over the show. But I want to have my guys on, man. So definitely following Darren Smith. Y'all can't probably hear him. I don't know what happened to the feed. Definitely follow my guy, Darren Smith, man. Great guy. Brings out all that Chiefs content. Like I said, he's down in the Super Bowl doing great coverage, man. So salute to my guy, man. That's my Mr. Miyagi, man. He's kind of taught me the ropes and everything in this business, man. So I appreciate you. Brian B. Shynin, man, my favorite DJ, man. Big Chiefs fan, man. Definitely follow him on Twitter, man. That's my guy, man. And also my guy Tisdale, man. Big guy, man. Like I said, we played football together in high school, and I know he's a huge Tampa Bay Bucs fan. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. I'm about to hop on live with the Star Gang. Shouts out to Spoonie and Nick. So I'll be over there, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I appreciate y'all. Have a good one. Let's go, Cowboys.
Go Chiefs.